Hello. Okay, perfect. I had to fucking restart my whole fucking computer because my camera kept freezing while I was recording. But hello. It's Monday. Happy Monday. I am here to get something out of my fucking hair. I am here to discuss a little bit about digital art, digital artists. The difference between digital art and traditional art, and honestly, the fucked up stigma that digital artists, hold as being a digital artist. And considering that I've had a chance to do a little bit of both, so I've been an artist for 16 years. 10 of those years was spent traditionally doing traditional art. That means paper, pencil, colored pencil, watercolors, charcoal, canvases, regular paper, watercolor paper. I had a chance, acrylics. I had a chance to start with that because that's how I got into it. And honestly, I loved it. I loved doing traditional art. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't really understand about digital artists and traditional artists. That a lot of us started doing traditional art. Some of us transition for specific reasons. Some of us transition for no fucking reason at all, other than, hey, you know what? I want to fucking try it, so I'm going to fucking try it. But, as I'm coming up on my art show in August, I was passing out a bunch of flyers for my show around the neighboring shops. And this is the first for me. I've never had to advertise my stuff because I've had my head stuck in the sand. I've been nervous about selling my stuff. I've been nervous about the value of my stuff. And honestly, I was too afraid to make the investment to, do all this. It was very scary. It was either, I always had an excuse. But that's another video. So I started, passing out my flyers, and I got to one shop, and this was before I had my flyers. I asked her, hey, I'm going to be having an art show in the area, and I don't have my flyers with me, but I'm going to have them tomorrow. Would it be okay if I drop some off at your shop? And she was like, oh yeah, for sure. She started asking me questions about my art. I showed her a few pictures on my phone. I even had my business cards with me, so I gave her a business card. And, she asked me, she was just like, what kind of medium do you use? And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna lie, I felt really fucking uncomfortable answering that question. And I didn't really realize why I felt uncomfortable asking that question. I've been doing digital art for like 6-7 years, almost 7 years. And I felt uncomfortable. I was just like, oh, I'm a digital artist. And you could immediately see the value of the show and everything that I showed her kind of diminish, because it was just like, oh, you're a digital artist, so you're not a real artist. And I'm all like, no, I am a real artist. I did traditional art before I did digital art. I learned everything that I learned doing traditional art. And what people don't understand is that when you go into digital art, it's not cheating, you guys. And there are people in the art community that feel the same. Oh, it's cheating because you have this. You can backspace mistakes. You can do all this. And yes, while that is true, when you go into digital art, it is very, very, you're going into it with the same fucking skill set that you have from traditional art. You're not somehow better when you jump into digital art. Okay, you have the same skill set. I can still create an amazing set of eyes drawing it on a piece of paper or with acrylics or with watercolor or with whatever without, the convenience of digital art. Digital art is very convenient in many ways. You can store it really safely. You don't have to worry about it getting ruined. You have many printing options, whatever. But like I said, you could see the value of the show being diminished because it wasn't traditional art. It wasn't paint on canvas. Now, I'm not going to hold it against her because I don't really know what her art background is. Maybe she went to art school before she got into retail because it was her store. She was the owner of the store. So again, I'm not going to hold it against her because people really don't know the value in digital art. You still need to have a specific skill set to be able to create the things that you create digitally. You know, there still is a requirement of having to sharpen your skills. You know, when I compare, because I posted recently on my Instagram a comparative between last year digital art and this year digital art. And there was like an entire year where I did nothing but eyes because I was trying to get better at eyes and eye depth because I love drawing eyes. So, you know, for like a year, maybe two, I was drawing nothing but eyes because I love eyes. So I got really, really good at eyes because I was drawing nothing but eyes for an entire fucking year. It's like a year-long eye study. And that was great. It was fun. And it came from my head. It was very original. You know, some of them looked the same, some of them didn't. You know, it doesn't really matter. Either way, I drew eyes for a fucking year and a half. Or longer. I really don't know. But for a long time, I drew nothing but eyes. So I got really good at them. But when I was transitioning over to, okay, now I want to get better at drawing noses and lips, you know, then I transitioned to drawing nose and lips. And from there, you know, I realized the transition from, you know, last year to this year and how good I got at noses and full faces. Noses and full faces and lips and, you know, this little, what is this thing called? I don't know what it's called, but this thing above your lip, that little divot. You know, I was working a lot on that. And just the comparison, you know, I was scaled back on the detail in the eyes so I can get good at the nose. And now I'm able to draw really detailed eyes and really detailed noses. What I mean to say is that traditional art and digital art, they're all just art. And like I said, there's a lot of people in the art community that don't feel the same. They're just like, nope, if it's not on paper and pencil, then it's not traditional. And it's not real. You're not a real artist, all right? And like I said, there's specific, you know, things that you can do on digital art that you can't really do with traditional art. Like if you draw a fucking face, right? And you're looking at it, you stand back and you look at it, and one eye's up here and one eye's down here, and you're painting on a canvas. It's a lot harder to fix that than it is on digital art, you know. But that's why a lot of us kind of switch over to the convenience of digital art because it's just easier to store. It's you know, cleaner. It's sometimes a lot of the times cheaper depending on what software you use, right? And that's kind of, you know, I kind of want to break down that stigma. And that's kind of where I'm working at, where, you know, I have my art show, you know, I have the story behind the art show, and me as an artist, you know, like I said, I've been creating for about 16 years. Now, do I have all 16 years of all of my shit posted everywhere? Absolutely not. You know, I'll do probably something on that later, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, I've had a lot of time to teach myself, to practice. And let me tell you, it is a long journey and I'm still learning. We're still learning. But I want to try to break down that stigma between digital art and fine art. You know, there's a lot of people that will always feel like traditional art will always be worth more than digital art. Doesn't matter how many years of experience you have. Doesn't matter how long it takes you to create the piece. Doesn't matter how much software you use to create the piece. It will infinitely be considered less valuable by certain groups of people that value traditional art. You know, they're just like, oh, well, you can print it as many times as you want. You can do this, you can do that. And it's just like, hey, I hate to break it to you. Some fine art that was created on canvas can be printed several times. Can be duplicated several times. It's up to the artist if they want to do that. But what I'm saying is that it's all the fucking same. It takes a certain skill level to be able to create anything. All right? And depending on how hard you've worked and, you know, the choices that you've made artistically, that's going to determine the value of your work. And I don't want anybody, especially digital artists or even fine artists that want to get into digital art, I don't want this to discourage you. Okay, there is a market for digital art. There are a lot of people that see value in digital art. Not all traditional artists are like on a witch hunt for digital artists. So I want to make that clear to everybody. So don't feel discouraged if you're a digital artist or if you love digital art. The whole point, you know, especially if you're going to go into selling your stuff, people are buying your skills. People are buying your originality. People are buying something that they connect with at the end of the day. If 90% of people don't agree with that and don't like it, that's great. there's still like the other 9% that might really fuck with your work. If you don't sell everything, that's fine. It's just the right eyes haven't seen it yet. All right? Don't be discouraged. Keep doing what you got to do, you know, and don't lose hope. Just keep fucking going. There's always more to be learned. All right? There's always more to be learned. So don't be discouraged. It's going to be okay. I love you guys. If you want to follow my art journey, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I am, again, getting back to posting more often and, you know, sharing the things that I've learned, not being selfish. I love you guys. Have a great week.